you want to go ahead and get started, just your thoughts on tonight's game.
Well, I thought the way the game started was really great. We know A.J. Labus is going to be an outstanding pitcher for us, and we had some tremendous at-bats against him in the first inning. 3 freshmen had base hits. Obviously, Cruz had a big 2-run triple, but the at-bats by Trey Morgan and Will Safford with 2 strikes on them, battling off a couple of pitches each with 2 strikes, and then coming through with big hits, or in Safford's case. That was real exciting. Safford made a couple good plays at third base. Giovanni made a couple of major league catches out in center field. There was some really good stuff. Garrett Edwards and Alex Brady, I thought, for the gold team really pitched well at the beginning. And this is what happens in these inter squad games. Some guys, you got to find out about them, and some guys are ready, some guys aren't ready yet, and there's things obviously that we need to tighten up, but there were so many good things tonight. I was very, very pleased with some of the stuff I saw.
All right, guys, any questions for Coach?
Wilson, just sign language.
Paul, you mentioned those freshmen. Did this just sort of confirm what you had seen from Trey and Will and Dylan for the last month or so?
Really, I've been seeing this every day from these guys. Trey has just played tremendous ball all fall, and he had a beautiful RBI hit there with 2, or not an RBI hit, but a 2-strike hit off of AJ, and then had a beautiful hit and run later on. I would have liked to have seen him pick that last ball in the dirt there. I think that's the first one I haven't seen him pick in 6 weeks of fall practice. Would have ended the game if he would have picked it there. That would have been a nice way for the game to end. But that's what Morgan's been doing all fall. He's just played tremendous, and Will Safford is just a gritty, tough baseball rat, and he just loves to play, and he competes and does things to help his team. Obviously, Dylan had a big hit, but then he had a couple strikeouts after that. So, the inconsistency will show, and we're going to have to show a lot of patience with some of these young kids, no question about that.
Hey, Coach. Despite some of those little mistakes, like Cade missing that ball at the wall and the pick with Trey and everything, it seemed like the team had a relatively good defensive night. Safford made some good plays at third. Cranford made some good plays. What do you think the upside defensively of this team is?
Well, I'm just a little disappointed about that fly ball that Beloso missed, because up until then he had made, I thought, 3 decent catches. He made one real nice catch up against the wall. But, we have not practiced much at night. In fact, Monday night was the first time we'd been under the lights all fall. When you get those really towering pop-ups like that, especially in the outfield, when you haven't played the outfield much, it's hard to track the ball. And I got to believe that with more reps that Beloso would catch that ball typically. I know he's disappointed he didn't make the catch, but overall, I thought he played well in the outfield, and I thought on a clinic out there in center field, he made 2 amazing catches. Brody Dross crushed the ball out to the 405 sign in right center early in the game, and Giovanni ran that one down, and he ran another one down there in left center field that I thought was really an outstanding catch. We know Milazzo is going to be a great catcher for us. I'm telling you, Trey Morgan will be tremendous at first base. I think that, we got to shore up a couple little things. But otherwise, I think we're going to have a good defensive team, and we're going to need to. We're not we don't have a lot of power arms. We got some really, really good pitchers, like the way Garrett Edwards pitched, the way that Alex Brady pitched. Those guys are not overpowering, but they throw a lot of strikes. They change speed. You're going to have to play good defense behind those guys, and I think we will.
Hey, Coach, I was just curious the fact that your season was cut short and everything. Does this fall ball, are they more excited to be out there and be playing baseball now that they're a team that more than usual?
I think so, Jacques. When you have something taken away from you, it makes you appreciate what you have had. And I think this fall practice has been very spirited, and the guys have given a great effort. They've been very enthusiastic. We've been very fortunate. The weather has been great. from the first day of practice, September 30th, until, today, and hopefully through tomorrow and the next day, knock on wood, we haven't had any positive COVID tests. We've had nobody in quarantine. We've had nobody in isolation. So with the exception of one day where we got cut short with rain, we've been able to go through fall practice uninterrupted. And thank goodness we have. I saw, the football team not get to have spring practice, and it just feels like, that they missed out on a lot of teaching time and a lot of reps and a lot of learning about their players and so forth. And I was worried that was going to happen for us, that we'd all of a sudden be playing in January, February, and really not know our players. But I feel now that I know our players extremely well. I think I know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and the experience that they're gaining this fall, I think, is going to be very useful down the road.
Paul, this is just a random question. Where did you watch the game from?
I'm sitting up here in the radio booth right now on the box. I've been watching it up here, but the reason I'm up here, Wilson, is I had neck surgery again, if you can believe that. I had it last December. I've got to have another surgery November 16th, so I had to kind of quarantine myself for the 2 weeks leading up to the surgery. So I prepared the players for it. I explained this to them the other day on Monday at practice, and so I've kind of isolated myself away from them so that I make sure I don't catch anything and have my surgery postponed.
What has that done for you as far as does it give you a different eye, or you can't really get in there,
Honestly, Mike, it really did. I've never really sat in a press box and watched my own team play before, and just watching the way the catcher sets up and what the pitchers are trying to do, and there's mistakes that were made that can be corrected, but there was a situation first and third, Cade Beloso up and one out, and he hit a ground ball to Braden Doty, who was holding the runner on at first, and Doty stepped on first and threw to second, and they tagged the runner out at second. Zach Arnold slowed up about 2 feet from home plate, and because they tagged the runner out at second base before he crossed home plate, there was no run. Those are mistakes that can be corrected as long as you see them. And from my vantage point up here, I could see very clearly that he slowed up a couple steps before home plate. So it gives us an opportunity to make a very important teaching point. Better to make that mistake in the fall than in front of 10,000 people in the spring with a chance to go to Omaha, So, being able to sit up here like Bear Bryant up on the tower, gives you a chance to see some things that maybe you don't see down there at field level.
Heard you talk about just the anticipation of having a normal schedule, and you really won't know for a week or so, but that's how you're proceeding? That's the plan for the spring?
Mike, I didn't quite hear you.
I heard you, I think it was on a radio interview where you just talked about you're planning on proceeding with a normal schedule or
in the springtime. We have a conference call tomorrow morning with all the SEC baseball coaches, and Herb Vincent and Greg Sankey is going to be on that call. So we're going to get a little bit better idea of where the commissioner stands. But, as of right now, we haven't had anybody cancel non-conference games on us. And, we're planning on having a full schedule. Now, maybe, the commissioner has some news for us tomorrow. I don't know. I know he's been an advocate for us to play a full schedule in the spring, and I hope that we can, and I hope we can begin on February 19th with Notre Dame.
I don't want to keep hogging this, so anybody else jump in here. Paul, I had just kind of a funny question. Did you make the guys shave?
No, I have not made the players shave. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do in the spring, Mike, but after this craziness of this last season being called off, and there's just everything, I just thought I'd give the guys a little bit of a jolt of enthusiasm, not making them shave during the fall and seeing how it goes. But I haven't made a final decision yet whether or not I'm going to reinstate that no facial hair rule or let it ride.
Now, if I remember correctly, haven't I seen a picture of you with a mustache in an LSU uniform, or is that a UNO?
No, not an LSU uniform, but I have to admit that I did get married with a mustache. When I was a young coach, I was a head coach at 25 years old, I started with a no facial hair rule for our team, but only the head coach was allowed to have facial hair because I wanted to look older than the players. I had some players I was only 1 or 2 years older than. So that's how that rule started at the very beginning. But I can't grow a good mustache anymore, so it doesn't really matter for me.
So, Coach, you've got to have a second neck surgery November 16th?
Yes. This one I'll be having it here in Baton Rouge. I have to have my spine fused between C5. Last year, I had a replacement disc put in between C5 and C6, and I was hoping that would fix the problem. But I knew I had an issue at 2 different levels, so I was hoping that last year that surgery would fix it all. But I've just been in such tremendous pain for about 3 months. I just can't continue this way, so I have to have the surgery. Not looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to being out of pain, to be honest with you. It's been a rough 2 years.
When did you have the surgery?
Pardon me?
When did you have the surgery?
Last December, I went up to Chicago. I had a former player of mine from Notre Dame perform the surgery, a spine surgeon, and I had a prosthetics disc put in between C5 and C6. But I knew I had a bulging disc between C4 and C5, but I was hoping that surgery last year would take the pressure off of this one, but it's just continued to get worse. So I really don't have any choice. I have to have this done. So yeah, so the positive is I'm getting taller. You know, they keep making my spine straight, so it's gonna make me taller. I might get all the way up to 5'8" one of these days. All right, anybody else? Okay.
Nothing for me.
Phil's that good?
Yes, sir. Great. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
See y'all.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
At
Coach.
home.
Hey, good luck if we don't talk to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I'll be all right.
Thanks, Paul.